Can Pakistan survive without America? What may sound like a rhetorical question is actually a statement made every time the United States of America turns up the heat against Pakistan. First, the American politicians start yelling, "We should cut Pakistan's aid," followed by the Pakistani counterparts asking the nation, "Do you really think we can afford to live without America?" Truth is that not even a fraction of this aid has benefited Pakistan, and yet every Pakistani, even the unborn, are under a debt that is impossible to pay. We need to start by looking at what we actually get from being with America. We sacrificed thousands of civilians and soldiers fighting a war we didn't start. We juggled between incompetent and corrupt regimes which are backed by America as experiments of governance. Our growth opportunities are restricted and our reputation hostage to careless statements by insignificant politicians and journalists in the West. No matter how hard Pakistan's armed forces fight the war on terror, their efforts are disregarded, and all we hear is, "Do more or face the consequences." Being an ally of America only ensures a nose-diving economy with no visible possibility of recovery. We are forced to be ruled by dictatorial democracies or democratic dictators who keep breaking their own records of corruption. This alliance has engaged the whole nation in a war that cannot possibly be won. Yet, Pakistan is being forced to wage another war on a people who are not our enemies and could even be of benefit to us as an ally. At the same time, America herself is opening doors to the very same people, that is the Haqqanis, for reconciliation. Today, we are governed or misgoverned by an assembly of so-called people's representatives with fake degrees and charges of atrocious corruption, pretending to understand complex documents like the Kerry-Lugar Bill. An assembly of gutless politicians who take hours to pass multiple resolutions against drone attacks on our soil, but don't have an iota of courage to actually do something about it. Being allies of America, we have leaders who have amassed unimaginable wealth illegally and placed most of it in America or the United Kingdom. Their children go to school there. Their businesses and properties are in the swankiest areas of Manhattan and London. They buy mansions in Spain and palaces in Surrey. They live on properties spread over thousands of acres and speak of the poor man's plight. Being allied with America has brought us to the point of being a failed state. Pakistanis have been pushed into a state of turmoil, divided into factions, and drowned in hopelessness. An environment which keeps pushing our best brains out of the country, leaving behind a population that is dependent not only on its failed leaders, but also their foreign masters who help engineer the entry and exit from power. In addition, this exodus provides a highly capable yet cheap workforce to countries like America, Canada, United Kingdom, Australia. Eventually, our own brains, our assets, are used against us in more ways than one. Truly Machiavellian. Pakistan was a nation poised for greatness, an agricultural country capable of not just feeding itself, but a few others as well. A country with great natural resources. Pakistan's sportsmen dazzled the world of cricket, hockey and squash for decades and are capable of much more. This soil has produced philosophers, scholars, artists, poets, painters, physicians, and even nuclear scientists, a people with more than average intelligence by any standard. Even today, world record-setting students are from Pakistan. Pakistan is the only country whose armed forces are not driven by money or the spoils of war. Pakistan is protected by soldiers who defend their land and people for a belief, a faith, a purpose. If Pakistan's American-backed governments had not made blatantly bad choices, we could have been seeing China and India face to face in matters of economy and international importance. We could have been standing shoulder to shoulder with the world's most productive nations. It is still possible. Pakistan had and has the potential to be a buoyant nation with no lack of opportunity, resource, or manpower. Good or bad, Pakistan's majority population today is young and vibrant, an asset that could very easily be turned into a great force for development. If we could only remove the hurdles of incompetent corruption from our systems, this young force could be launched in the direction of unmatched growth. Pakistanis can prosper only if they break away from being allies of America. Pakistani youth will be educated and employed if and only if their fate is not in the hands of leaders whose children go to school in Oxford and have businesses worth billions all over the world. Pakistan's foreign policy will be in Pakistan's interest and not that of a foreign minister who carries a handbag worth tens of thousands of dollars to meetings. Pakistan's security and defense will be ensured only if our ambassador to the United States of America doesn't issue hundreds of visas to paid mercenaries in one night after office hours. If anything, American warmongers would be left without a supply route to the forces in Afghanistan. A breaking up with Pakistan would leave the superpower reduced to pulp if they didn't have 180 million Pakistanis fighting and paying the price for the war on a terror America created itself. So, can Pakistan survive without America? I would conclude that Pakistan can survive only without America. I wish I could say the same about Pakistan's self-proclaimed saviors and leaders.